Hello there and welcome. Today, we are going to get you set up with some fantastic and yes, seriously impressive ways to start a conversation in Mandarin. So let's just dive right in.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in that situation where you start a conversation in Mandarin, you say that one word everybody knows, Nihao, and then crickets, just an awkward silence? We've all been there. Well, today, we're going to push way beyond that.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to cover the basics that go beyond Nihao. Then we'll get into some culturally savvy greetings that'll make you sound super natural. After that, we'll talk about starting deeper conversations, catching up with friends you already know, and finally, how to respond confidently when they ask about you. It's a full-circle guide to better conversations.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, Beyond Nihao, the basics. This is all about mastering that all-important first impression. We're going to talk about body language and some simple, must-know verbal greetings.
First things first, let's talk about what you do before you even say a word. A simple nod is very common. A big, genuine smile, that works everywhere. And shaking hands is also totally normal, especially in business settings. But here's the crucial thing to remember. Physical touch is generally much more limited. Hugs? Yeah, hugs are super rare. There's a funny story about a foreigner who hugged his mother-in-law, and apparently it was the talk of the family for months. So, a good rule of thumb, if you're not sure, just don't hug.
Now, for those quick greetings when you're just passing someone on the street, it's actually super simple. If you know their name, just say their name. If you don't, the best thing to do is use their title. It's a sign of respect, and it's a really common practice. Let's go through a few of the most important titles right now.
Okay, our first one is lǎobǎn. Let's say that again slowly. lǎobǎn. This means boss, and it's the perfect polite way to get the attention of any shopkeeper or restaurant owner. It works like a charm.
Next up, we have shūshu. Let's try it. Shūshu. This means uncle, and it's a really warm and respectful way to address any man who's about the same age as your dad.
And for women, you've got two fantastic options. The first is ai. Let's hear it. Ai. This means auntie, and you'd use it for women around your mother's age. Now, for someone who looks a bit younger, you can use jijit. One more time, jijit. That means older sister. And here is a little pro tip for you. If you're ever on the fence, it is always better to go younger. Calling someone JJ is basically a compliment.
Now, what about the time of day? Well, morning greetings are by far the most common. In a more formal setting, you can say zào shang hao. But if you're just passing a neighbor or a colleague, a much more casual and friendly greeting is just zào. Simple as that. You know, you might have learned phrases like good afternoon or good evening, but honestly, you almost never hear them in everyday chats. They're really saved for very formal situations, like the staff at a fancy hotel.
All right, great job. Let's level up and move on to Section 2, Culturally Savvy Greetings. Now that we've got the basics down, let's explore some phrases that will make you sound much more like a native speaker.
Okay, here's a technique that might feel a little strange to English speakers at first, but it is so common in China. You just narrate what you see someone doing. Seriously, so if you see a neighbor leaving their apartment, you can just say 出来了, which means you're leaving. Or if they're coming home, you can say 回来了, meaning you're back. It's not really a question, it's just a simple, friendly way to acknowledge them as you pass by.
And now for an absolute classic. Around lunchtime or dinner time, it is incredibly common to be asked, have you eaten? Now, this is not an invitation to a meal. It's really just a way of showing that you care about someone's well-being. The standard phrase is 吃饭了嗎? You can also get specific for breakfast and ask 吃早饭了嗎? And if you want to be more casual, you can shorten it to just 吃了嗎? Or even 吃了沒. They're all wonderful.
Let's move into Section 3, Starting Deeper Conversations. So, everything we've talked about so far is great for quick passings, but what do you say when you actually want to stop and have a real chat with someone you've just met?
So, when you're being introduced to someone for the first time, the standard go-to phrase is 很高兴认识你. It means something like, happy to know ya. It works in almost any situation. But if you want to show a little more nuance, say you've heard about this person from a mutual friend, you can say 很高兴见到你. It means happy to see you. It's a subtle difference, but native speakers will definitely notice and appreciate it.
Now, if you really want to impress someone in a formal setting, you can use this phrase, xin hui. Let's say that together slowly. xin hui. This is a very respectful greeting. You'd want to save this for meeting someone of high status, like a company CEO, a lawyer, or a respected professor. Using this at the right moment is incredibly powerful.
Okay, moving right along to Section 4, Catching Up with Friends.
These are the phrases you'll want to use when you bump into someone you already know, but maybe haven't seen for a while.
You've got some really great options here. First, there's haoju bujian, which literally means long time no see. It works just like in English. Probably the most common way to ask is zui jins and miyang, which is how have you been recently? If you want to be a little more specific, you can ask zui jin mong shemenena, what have you been busy with lately? And for a really sincere, caring question, you can say zui jin iche do haoma, which is like asking, has everything been going well for you recently?
And that brings us to our final and very important section, how to respond confidently. Because once you ask someone how they are, they're probably going to ask you right back. So here are 3 easy, natural responses you can use. First up, for a simple, positive answer, you can say, Ting ha da. Let's try it. Ting ha da. It's a perfect translation of pretty good, a great, all-purpose response. Now for something a bit more neutral, maybe a little more chilled out, you can say, Hai xing. Again, Hai xing. This is like saying, I'm all right, or not bad. You know, things aren't amazing, but they're not terrible either. Just all right.
And finally, this one is a personal favorite of mine because it sounds so native. It's lǎobǎn. Let's say that one more time. lǎobǎn. This is the perfect way to say same old, same old. It's casual, it's relaxed, and it's something you'll hear friends say to each other all the time. And there you have it. You are now equipped with a whole toolkit of phrases to start real, meaningful conversations in Mandarin way beyond just Nihao. You can do it with confidence and with cultural awareness. But that does bring up one final question, doesn't it? You know how to start a conversation, but do you know how to end one? Well, that's a great topic for our next explainer. Thanks so much for joining me today.